Well, I'm excited to continue my conversations as we move through the school districts of Mason County, and here I am at Grapeview with School District Superintendent Kurt Hilyard. How you doing?
Great, great.
Good to talk with you. Happy to be here.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful campus.
It is pretty, isn't it?
Tell me a little bit about it for those who may not know it. We're tucked away off Mason Benson.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. First of all, we're a preschool through 8th grade school district. 215 students.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I came from Montana, and so on the eastern side, which is flat and not a lot of trees. And when I moved over here and I came up the driveway, I go, oh my goodness, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful site.
It really is. Home of the Gators. Don't see many of those out here.
No, you don't.
How has the school year been for you guys?
Just like everybody, the COVID issue is the top issue right now with schools. Trying to control it is difficult, but we're following all the safety protocols like everybody else.
Uh-huh.
We're not doing anything different than anybody else is doing, but just trying not to make any mistakes, make sure we keep everybody safe.
One thing that, as I talk to all the superintendents, I just want to make sure the vaccine mandates, the masking mandates that come down through the school district do not come from you as a superintendent or the Grapeview School Board.
Correct.
This comes from the governor's office, Chris Reichdel's office for the superintendent of public instruction, or the health department.
Correct. Yeah, we have no say in it whatsoever, and if we do go against that, there's a couple things that will happen. One is our property liability insurance company. That there's two of them in the state that pretty much insure all the school districts. Both companies, as of September 1st, are not covering any COVID issues. So if you violate the law, you have no insurance coverage. Number one. Two, the OSPI will take our funding away if we don't follow the rules. And then three, the third thing I don't think people know is that school boards can be sued individually, privately, in addition to the school district. And that's the other thing that's been said that could happen. So there's just so many reasons not to follow the, and it's safety and all those things. So, but yeah, we're going to stick with what we're being told to do.
Yeah. Let's talk about how the kids move through the day here when they get off the bus at the Grapeview School District, and we know that once we get them on the campus, on the facility, we're able to make sure they got their masks on and everybody's being distant.
Well, they have to have the masks on even on the bus.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, they have to wear the mask on the bus, everybody, correct.
And so then once they get off the bus, how are people shuffled through the school to avoid as much contact as possible?
We have teachers and paras that will meet kids at the door, different groups that take them in. Our students for breakfast are eating in their room.
Okay.
Lunch is out in the lunchroom, and everybody has a designated spot so that we can do contact tracing if needed. So we have to make sure we know where everybody is at all times, so we can do anybody that is supposedly or is diagnosed with COVID, we need to do a check of everybody within 3 feet of that student. So we have to know where everybody's at. So it's very structured that way.
I was talking with Superintendent Rosenbach at North Mason, who you feed into the North Mason School District after 8th grade.
We do.
And she was saying too that now the schools are up to do their own contact tracing.
Right.
As a feeder school, then, how much communication do you have with them when it could come to older classmates for people here?
Our families here in Grapeview are great to deal with. We've had very good success. If they have a child in North Mason or Shelton, and that's COVID, that has COVID, they contact us immediately. So, and we do the same if we have an elementary, but the parents have been great to work with. They're letting us know what's going on. So
it seems like the other superintendents I've talked to too say, regardless of what people's personal beliefs are outside of the school district boundaries, once you come onto the district, everybody has, for the most part, been pretty compliant, and they understand that this is how things have to get done.
Right. We have not had any issues. Our parents have been great. I'm sure there's some that are not happy with those, health decisions, but we don't have a choice, so we will, comply with the state. So I think they understand that. Their beef might be with, the state health department or the governor's office or whomever.
Right.
So.
Let's talk about the rest of the school year. And everybody's hope, of course, is to be in here all the time through until June at the end of the school year. If not, how quickly are you guys able to pivot? But then I also kind of want to know what your hopes are for the whole school year. What would you like to see at the end of this thing?
Well, at the end, I'd like to make sure our kids have caught up to anything that we've missed over the last year and a half.
Right.
We want to be caught up, and we're small enough that we know where every student is. We assess constantly here, and so we keep a running chart, color coded on each student, how they're doing in each level of their academics. So as soon as we see that they've tweaked down a little bit, we've got some extra help for them. So that's what's nice about a little school district. We can take care of that. And so when we were looking at where we were on assessments last spring, our kids were doing super because we had been doing that all year long. So I'm very happy there. So we want to make sure we maintain that through the rest of this school year, and make sure at the end of the year we're where they should be is where we want to be. As far as what was the other? As far as COVID goes,
yeah. If you have to pivot, how quickly is everybody ready to do that?
we had to do that with one of our grade levels. We had to send home an entire grade level because we weren't comfortable with the contact tracing at that time. We feel a lot more confident now, but that one we just didn't feel like we were so sure who was and was not in contact. So we just did the whole grade, and that happened on a Thursday. We let the parents know. It was short notice because you never know. You get hit with that, and you've got to deal with it. So it was Thursday night that parents were notified that the students would not come back on Friday for X number of days. On Friday, we had our Google Classroom up and running. So students that had technology at home of their own were on the system the very next day. They lost nothing. The people that didn't have technology at home, we handed out Chromebooks Thursday night and Friday, and so on Friday they got those that didn't have it had it, and on Monday they were up and running. So really, we had a turnaround immediately.
That's great.
So
That's great.
I know some school districts. I know a couple of school districts that purchased Chromebooks, 2 Chromebooks per student. They sent one home and kept one at school. Well, that's great. We just didn't have that kind
Sure.
of funding, but we have enough. We are one-on-one with all our students for Chromebooks, so we've covered that, but not enough to send duplicates.
So then, in those types of situations, do you send the Chromebooks home with the students at the end of every day, and that's what they use for their homework? And if you have to stay home, then you already have it? Or?
That's what they did when they had the double.
Right.
But we can't do that because what if they don't get it back the next day
Right.
that they're coming into class?
Yeah.
So that's the only downside, and maybe down the road we can do that. But right now, again, when you have that many Chromebooks, you have to maintain those too. And then when they become obsolete, you have twice as many to purchase.
Sure.
You can't just shuffle them through. So anyway.
Amazing, though, that we're able to talk about having a Chromebook for every student.
Yeah,
Isn't that
it's
great?
amazing. You look at 10 years ago, that was just unheard of.
Yeah.
And now we can do it. And they've come down in price, a Chromebook versus a laptop. So, and they work fine.
Yeah, they
So,
do.
yep.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy that you were able to have some time for me here this afternoon here at the Grapeview School District as I continue my tour around talking with all the superintendents. As we move forward with the Grapeview School District, we're going to have chances to talk with the principals and other great folks here in the district. But right now, Kurt Hilyard is on the air with us, and I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
And I'd like
Please.
to mention one other thing, that we started a transitional kindergarten program this year. It's a preschool, and it doesn't cost the parents anything. It's part of our program, and we are so excited. It's going well, and the need was here. We really needed it, so we're excited to start it. I've been trying to get it for 3 years. We finally got it going. So
What are some of those other kind of pilot projects that you hear in the community that would be a great benefit down the road? I'd love to hear some more of these things.
We're always looking at STEM programs. We'd like to do more in STEM, and hopefully we can start doing that. If COVID would just give us a break, it would be a lot easier because STEM is so you want to try and involve kids as much as you can on hands-on. So that doesn't mean we can't do some of it, but it just makes it a little more difficult with COVID. So I'm hoping that we can transition into more of that. And then we want to continue with the fine arts too. I think that's so important for kids to try to do more in that area.
Yeah, there's always a lot of great studies on what the fine arts do to help the overall education of
Absolutely.
students.
Yep, absolutely.
And then I think about what you were saying with STEM too. My first mind's eye is, everybody huddled around a table like this and they're trying to build a bridge or something.
Right.
And you're all real close until we're able to do that a little better.
Yeah. And we can still do some of that, but it just makes it a little more difficult is all. And so we'll keep plugging away, but when COVID's over, I think that'll be our next big push.
That's awesome. That's great. And I am hopeful for when COVID is over. Kurt Hilyard, thank you.
You
very
bet.
much.
Yeah, thank you.